From a small room to a big dream. The real story of Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson. Jimmy Donaldson grew up in a small town in North Carolina, USA. His life was simple. There was no fame, no luxury, and no special advantages. His parents worked hard, and like many children, Jimmy went to school, came home, and spent time on the internet. From the outside, his life looked normal. But inside his mind, something was quietly growing. Jimmy was curious. Not curious like asking many questions in class, but curious about how the world worked online. He spent hours watching YouTube videos. While other kids watched for fun, Jimmy watched carefully. He noticed what made people click, what made them stay, and what made videos boring. He did not know it yet, but he was learning without realizing it. At the age of 13, Jimmy started his first YouTube channel. The videos were not good. The sound was bad. The editing was poor. Almost no one watched them. Many people would have stopped at this point. But Jimmy didn't. He wasn't chasing fame. He was chasing understanding. He kept uploading videos every week. Sometimes every day. Most videos got only a few views. Sometimes only 10. Sometimes less. His friends did not take him seriously. Some laughed. Some said, "Why are you wasting your time?" But Jimmy felt something important. Creating videos made him feel alive. School was not easy for him. He did not enjoy traditional education. Sitting in class felt slow and meaningless to him. His mind was always thinking about ideas, thumbnails, titles, and video formats. Teachers thought he was distracted. But Jimmy was focused, just not on the same things as everyone else. At home, he shared his dream with his mother. He told her he wanted to become a YouTuber. She was worried. YouTube did not look like a real future. She wanted him to be safe. She wanted him to study and choose a normal career. Jimmy understood her fear, but he could not ignore his own passion. One day, Jimmy made a bold decision. He told himself, "I will give YouTube everything." This was not an emotional promise. It was a serious plan. He started studying YouTube like a subject. He analyzed videos frame by frame. He read comments. He tested ideas. He failed again and again. Years passed. Jimmy uploaded hundreds of videos. Still, success did not come. Money was tight. He earned almost nothing. His channel grew slowly, painfully slowly. Many nights, he questioned himself. Was he chasing an impossible dream? Was everyone else right? But there was one thing Jimmy refused to do: quit. Instead of giving up, he improved. His videos became better. His ideas became clearer. He learned how to hold attention. He learned how to tell a story in seconds. He learned what made people feel excited. At one point, Jimmy reached 1,000 subscribers. To many people, this is a small number. To Jimmy, it felt like proof. Proof that someone, somewhere, cared enough to watch. Then something strange happened. Instead of spending money on himself, Jimmy started giving it away. Small amounts at first, then bigger. He gave money to strangers. He helped people. He recorded their reactions. These videos felt different. They felt real. People connected emotionally. But success still did not explode overnight. Jimmy was obsessed. He slept thinking about ideas and woke up thinking about improvement. He had no backup plan, no safety net, just belief and discipline. People don't talk about this part of success. They only talk about the end. But before fame, there is a long season of silence. Jimmy lived in that silence for years. Then, one video changed everything. But that moment did not come from luck. It came from patience, learning, and thousands of failures no one saw. The video that changed everything, but almost broke him. When Jimmy Donaldson uploaded the video that would later change his life, he did not feel confident. In fact, he felt nervous. For years, he had been trying, failing, learning, and repeating the same cycle. Nothing had truly worked yet. His channel was growing, but slowly. Too slowly for the amount of effort he was giving. Jimmy understood one painful truth. Doing normal things would bring normal results. If he wanted something different, he had to do something extreme. He decided to create a video no one had done before. A video where he counted numbers out loud for hours. It sounded boring, even stupid. People told him it would fail. Some friends asked, why would anyone watch that? But Jimmy believed something important. He knew YouTube rewarded watch time. If people stayed, even out of curiosity, the algorithm would notice. So he pressed record and started counting. 1, 2, 3. The video took hours. His voice became tired. His body ached. At times, he wanted to stop, but he didn't. He remembered all the years of silence, all the nights of doubt, all the people who didn't believe in him. He finished the video and uploaded it, not knowing what would happen next. At first, nothing happened. Then slowly, views started increasing. People were confused. Some were amazed. Some stayed just to see if he would really finish. The video spread. Comments increased. Subscribers came in faster than ever before. For the first time, Jimmy felt something new. Momentum. The video did not make him rich, but it gave him attention. And Jimmy understood attention was power. Not power to control people, but power to reach them. Instead of celebrating, Jimmy worked harder. He started making more extreme videos. Watching paint dry, reading the dictionary, sitting without moving. Each video pushed limits. Not just physical limits, but creative ones. People began recognizing his name. His channel started growing faster. But behind the scenes, life was still difficult. Jimmy was not healthy. He barely slept. He spent every dollar he earned back into videos, cameras, editing, ideas. Sometimes his bank account was close to zero, but he did not care about comfort. He cared about progress. There were moments when his body warned him to stop. Stress built up. He felt exhausted. But quitting was not an option. He believed deeply that if he stopped now, all the years before would mean nothing. Then another idea came to his mind. What if videos were not just extreme, but meaningful? Jimmy started giving away money on camera. At first, it was small amounts. $100, $1,000, to strangers, to friends, to people who needed help. He recorded their reactions, shock, tears, smiles. These moments felt real. People didn't just watch. They felt something. The channel exploded. Subscribers grew faster than Jimmy could imagine. Millions of people started watching. Brands contacted him. Money finally came in. But Jimmy did something no one expected. He gave it away again. Every dollar he earned went back into bigger videos, bigger challenges, bigger help. He helped homeless people. He paid for groceries. He surprised people who were struggling. His content became a mix of entertainment and kindness. But success created new problems. As the channel grew, expectations grew too. Every video had to be bigger, better, more exciting. Pressure returned, but in a different form. If he failed now, millions would see it. Jimmy felt the weight. There were days he questioned whether he could keep going. The stress was constant. He worried about his team, his audience, and his future. He was still young, but carrying responsibilities most people never face. One mistake could end everything. Still, Jimmy pushed forward. He learned how to lead a team. He learned how to plan large projects. He learned that success was not just about ideas, but about people working together. Slowly, Jimmy Donaldson became Mr. Beast. But what most people didn't see was that even at this level, fear never fully disappeared. Doubt still whispered. Failure still felt close. Success did not remove struggle. It only changed its shape. By the end of this chapter, Jimmy had achieved what many people dream of: fame, money, influence. But he realized something important. If success had no purpose, it felt empty. So he asked himself a bigger question. What if success could change lives, not just entertain? That question would lead him into the most ambitious phase of his life, when success found purpose, and purpose created pressure. By the time the world truly knew him as Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson's life no longer looked small. Millions of people watched his videos. His subscriber count grew faster than most people could understand. Money, which once felt impossible to earn, now arrived in numbers he had never imagined. But strangely, Jimmy did not feel finished. In fact, he felt restless. Success had answered some questions, but it created new ones. Jimmy began to realize that views and subscribers alone did not satisfy him anymore. He enjoyed the creativity, the challenges, and the excitement. But deep inside, something else was growing. He had seen real people cry when he helped them. He had seen lives change in minutes. Those moments stayed with him longer than any viral number ever could. So he made a decision that confused many people. Instead of keeping his money, Jimmy decided to give away more than ever before. At first, the idea sounded crazy, giving away tens of thousands of dollars, then hundreds of thousands, then entire houses. Friends warned him to slow down. Business experts said it was risky. What if YouTube changes? They asked. What if the money stops? But Jimmy believed something simple. Money was only powerful if it was moving. He planned bigger videos. He gave away cars to strangers. He paid for college students' tuition. He helped people who had lost hope. Every video required months of planning and millions of dollars. Every video carried risk. If one failed, the loss would be massive. The pressure became intense. Jimmy now had a team depending on him. Editors, camera operators, managers, and planners all worked under his leadership. If a project failed, it wouldn't just hurt him. It would hurt everyone. That responsibility weighed heavily on him. There were nights he couldn't sleep. His mind was always racing. Ideas, problems, numbers, deadlines. He replayed videos in his head, searching for mistakes. He worried about disappointing his audience. He worried about losing relevance. Success had not removed fear. It had multiplied it. At the same time, criticism grew louder. Some people accused him of helping others only for views. Others said his kindness was fake. Online comments questioned his intentions. Jimmy read them, even when he tried not to. Words can hurt, especially when you know your intentions are real. But Jimmy kept going. He knew something many people forget. You cannot control how people see you, only why you act. And his why was clear. He wanted to prove that success could be shared, not hoarded. Then came a new idea. What if he could help people on a massive scale, not just one video at a time? That idea became Beast Philanthropy. Jimmy created a separate channel and organization focused only on helping people in need. Food banks, shelters, families without homes. No tricks, no challenges, just help. Millions of meals were donated. Entire communities felt the impact. This changed Jimmy. Helping at scale showed him the real size of the world's problems. He realized that even millions of dollars could disappear quickly when facing real need. The problems were bigger than him, bigger than YouTube, bigger than fame. And that truth was heavy. Jimmy felt torn between two worlds. One world wanted entertainment, excitement, and bigger stunts. The other world needed real help, quiet help, help without cameras. Balancing these worlds was exhausting. Still, he continued. Each video grew more complex. Entire sets were built. Challenges lasted days. Costs reached unbelievable levels. Jimmy often reinvested almost everything he earned. On paper, he looked rich. In reality, his bank balance often stayed low. Friends worried. Why don't you slow down? They asked. You've already won. But Jimmy didn't see it that way. He believed winning meant creating value, not comfort. At the same time, his health suffered. He rarely rested. Stress followed him everywhere. His body sent warnings. Fatigue, anxiety, burnout. But Jimmy ignored them. He believed rest could wait. Then one day, his body forced him to listen. He realized that if he broke himself, none of this would matter. Helping others required staying strong himself. For the first time, Jimmy slowed down slightly. He learned to trust his team. He learned that leadership meant delegation, not control. This was a hard lesson. Letting go felt uncomfortable, but it allowed the work to grow beyond him. His team became stronger. His systems improved. His vision became clearer. By the end of this chapter, Mr. Beast was no longer just a YouTuber. He was a leader, a builder, a symbol of a new kind of success. But the bigger he became, the bigger the risks grew. And soon, Jimmy would face challenges that money, views, and kindness alone could not solve. The hidden cost of being number one. By the time Mr. Beast became the biggest individual creator on YouTube, the world saw only the highlights. Giant giveaways, smiling faces, record-breaking views. From the outside, his life looked perfect. Many people believed he had reached the top and would stay there forever. But behind the cameras, Jimmy Donaldson was fighting a battle most people never saw. Success had become expensive. Every new video needed to be bigger than the last. Bigger prizes, bigger sets, bigger ideas. The audience expected constant surprise, and YouTube's system rewarded only growth. Standing still meant falling behind. Jimmy understood this better than anyone. The pressure to always improve never stopped. Planning a single video could take months. Millions of dollars were spent before the camera even turned on. If something went wrong, the loss could be massive. One mistake could cost more than most people earn in a lifetime. That knowledge sat heavily on Jimmy's shoulders every day. At the same time, criticism became louder and more aggressive. Some people accused him of wasting money. Others claimed his videos were harmful, unrealistic, or manipulative. Online debates followed every upload. Even when he did something good, someone found a reason to complain. Jimmy tried to ignore it, but negativity has a way of finding its way into your mind. The worst part was that he started believing some of it. He questioned whether his work truly mattered. He wondered if he was trapped in a cycle where he had to keep shocking people just to survive. The joy he once felt while creating slowly began to fade, replaced by obligation. His health continued to decline. Jimmy barely slept. His schedule was chaotic. Stress became normal. He experienced anxiety, burnout, and physical exhaustion. Doctors warned him to slow down. Friends worried about him. But slowing down felt impossible. Millions of people were watching. Hundreds of employees depended on him. Entire charities relied on his work. If he stopped, everything could fall apart. This fear pushed him forward even when his body begged him to rest. Then, mistakes started happening. Small problems became big ones. Delays caused frustration. Miscommunication created tension within the team. Jimmy realized that perfection was becoming an enemy. Trying to control everything was damaging the very system he had built. For the first time in years, Jimmy felt close to breaking. He asked himself a question that scared him. What if I can't do this anymore? That moment forced honesty. Jimmy realized that being number one meant nothing if it destroyed him. He understood that success without balance was just another kind of failure. No amount of views could replace health, peace, or purpose. Slowly, he began to change. He reduced his involvement in every tiny detail. He trusted his team more. He accepted that not every video needed to be perfect. He allowed himself to rest. These changes felt uncomfortable at first. Letting go always does. But something surprising happened. The channel did not collapse. In fact, it became stronger. His team grew into leaders. Creativity increased. Systems improved. Jimmy learned that leadership was not about doing everything yourself. It was about building something that could survive without you. This lesson changed his mindset. Instead of chasing perfection, he focused on sustainability. Instead of short-term growth, he thought about long-term impact. Instead of being the center, he became the guide. The pressure did not disappear, but it became manageable. Jimmy began to enjoy creating again, not because it was easy, but because it felt meaningful. He remembered why he started: curiosity, creativity, and the desire to make something better than yesterday. By the end of this phase, Mr. Beast was no longer just a content creator pushing limits. He was a business leader learning to protect his future. But the story was not finished. One final challenge remained. A challenge that would test not his creativity, not his money, but his values. The legacy he chose, and the lesson for you. As Mr. Beast moved forward, something inside him had changed. He was no longer chasing numbers the way he once did. Views still mattered, but they were no longer the goal. Money still moved through his hands, but it no longer defined success. After years of pressure, burnout, and constant growth, Jimmy Donaldson began asking a deeper question. What will all of this mean in the end? He had reached a level of success few people ever experience. Fame, influence, and resources were now part of his daily life. But with that came responsibility. Every decision he made affected millions of viewers, hundreds of employees, and countless people he helped through his philanthropy. Jimmy understood that what he built would outlive him, and that realization forced him to think carefully about his values. He began focusing more on impact than attention. Beast philanthropy grew into something larger than anyone expected. Food banks expanded. Families found support. People who had been invisible felt seen. These actions did not always create viral moments, but they created real change. Jimmy learned that the most powerful help is not always loud. At the same time, he worked to build systems that could last. He invested in training his team, improving processes, and creating stability. He no longer wanted everything to depend on his energy alone. He wanted the mission to survive even if he stepped back one day. This shift brought peace. For the first time in years, Jimmy felt balanced. He worked hard, but he also rested. He pushed limits, but he respected boundaries. He accepted that growth does not need to be endless to be meaningful. It needs direction. Criticism never fully disappeared. It never does. But Jimmy learned how to handle it. He stopped trying to please everyone. He listened when feedback was useful and ignored noise when it was not. He realized that leadership requires confidence in your values, not approval from the crowd. Looking back, Jimmy could clearly see the path he had walked. The years of no views. The long nights of doubt. The risk of quitting school for a dream that no one believed in. The fear of losing everything with each new video. Every stage had taught him something essential. Failure taught him patience. Success taught him responsibility. Pressure taught him balance. Most importantly, he learned that true success is not about reaching the top. It is about lifting others as you climb. Today, Mr. Beast is not just known for giving away money or creating viral challenges. He is known for redefining what influence can look like. He showed the world that entertainment and kindness do not have to be separate. That generosity can be strategic. That building something big does not require becoming someone cold. His story carries a simple but powerful message for anyone listening. You do not need millions of subscribers to start. You do not need perfect tools to begin. You do not need permission to dream. What you need is patience, consistency, and the courage to keep going when no one is watching. Jimmy Donaldson started in a small room with a cheap camera and zero support. He failed more times than people can count. He questioned himself constantly, but he stayed curious. He stayed disciplined, and he stayed kind. That combination changed everything. Your path may look different. Your resources may be smaller. Your dream may feel impossible, but the lesson remains the same. Progress comes from action, not confidence. Confidence comes later. If you are learning English, building a skill, chasing a dream, or trying to change your life step by step, remember this story. Growth is slow before it is visible. Effort matters even when results are silent. In the end, success is not measured by how many people know your name. It is measured by how many lives are better because you tried. Where real stories teach real life lessons in simple English. If you want to learn English and grow in life together, subscribe to this channel and continue this journey with us.